Good morning. Am I awake? Am I dreaming? Okay. All right. Last night's dreams. I had a wild night. I had kind of a hard time falling asleep. The last 3 days, I've had some pretty severe panic attacks and anxiety. I have had to ask for help. I've had to do lots of things, including microdose, and I microdosed last night, just a tiny bit of mushrooms, not enough to really get crazy, obviously, as a microdose. Anyway, so that obviously affected my dreams. I fell asleep with music on, didn't have a nightlight on, and I immediately dropped into dreams. I had driving dreams, I had traveling dreams, I had dreams about animals, I had lots of dreams where I interacted with people. I felt like I talked a lot. So many dreams that are just like little snippets that I can't remember what was happening. There was one dream, for instance, it was like this setting of a TV talk show, and there was a Native American guy, in the dream, he was some famous Native American guy that does talks about, microdosing and brain supplements and stuff. I don't know who this guy actually is. Maybe he really exists. Maybe he doesn't. But in this dream, they were interviewing some athlete that was in trouble because he let it slip that he follows this guy's teachings and was like microdosing and taking, is it nootropics or something? I'm probably butchering that. But they were saying those are performance enhancing drugs, and fucking taking mushrooms is not performance enhancing. I mean, not like that. So that was interesting. And in that dream, I feel like I was just an observer, or maybe I was an audience, or maybe it was just, I wasn't in the dream at all. It was just like watching a TV screen. But the emotion in that dream, it was very exciting, but also very like scandalized because people were talking about mushrooms and all that. Oh, look, the sun's coming out. Okay, another dream I had, this was the dream that I remember the clearest because it was right before I woke up. I was driving and I became partially lucid. Andrew was in the passenger seat with me, and we were about to, I think, like exit the highway, and so we were going to go on one of those big loop things that, they call those clovers, right? Where you're going, and then like you exit right and you do a big loop, like a big circle to go back onto another highway. And I saw it coming up, and for whatever reason, I only had control of one arm, and this curve was coming up and I wasn't able to slow down, and I was like, whoa, Andrew, you're gonna have to shift for me. Like, if you don't shift for me, we're not gonna slow down and we're gonna fly off the road and die. And in that split second of deciding what to do and what's going to happen, I was thinking, okay, I can actually ask him to shift and not be too worried about dying, because I'm pretty sure that's not in the realm of possibilities. Not quite realizing that it was a dream and I was in my bed, but on some level realizing that. So I do think I'm getting more lucid. I think the practice is actually working. Oh yeah, and speaking of brain supplements, so last night I took 2 brain supplements and microdosed. So I think those 2 things helped. And the brain supplement is supposed to help cognitive function, like clear thinking, memory. And then the rest of the dreams, I just remember little snippets here and there, but that's the gist of it. That's most of my dreams. I wanted to get up at 5 o'clock again, because I think that's doing really good for my mental health overall. But since I microdosed last night, and I was having a pretty hard time last night falling asleep, I decided to skip the alarm, and I just let myself naturally wake up at whatever time it is now, like 6:30 or whatever. And I feel great. I had enough mushrooms that I fell asleep to a Jason Stevenson recording, and he had this image going on for the entire recording that was like, maybe I'll post a link to it in the comments below, because every once in a while I'd kind of half wake up and I'd roll over and stare at the picture, and holy moly, that shit was trippy. Oh yeah, I remembered another thing. I kept laughing every time I closed my eyes. I mean, maybe I did do a little more than just microdose, because I was seeing like swirling colors when I closed my eyes, and I made myself laugh so fucking hard. Yeah, so mushroom therapy, I do feel much better. I sweat so much last night. I know that's a really gross detail, but hormones, something is going on with my brain. It's good to note all of these things for journaling purposes. Okay, those are my dreams. I'm feeling much, much better than I did the last couple of days. Oh, go check out spaceweather.com. Someone brought that to my attention, that might be affecting dreams, because they're presenting studies that show how people are affected by that and how animals are affected by that. Specifically, our alpha brainwaves are affected. So during these big solar storms, if you notice you and all your friends are feeling just extra freaky for no reason, can't relax, everyone's anxious, and you've heard all of your friends say that, check space weather. It's another interesting thing to add to the list of stuff that affects us. It's fascinating. Okay. Thanks for watching my weird ass dream journal, and of course I would love nothing more than to hear about any dream details that you have, even if it's just, I think that I remember something about bubblegum. Anything, comment it down below. I want to hear about your dreams. Okay, bye guys.